Here's what you missed on Glee. It's Peter's hometowns, but they're in Australia. Hannah Ann loves Peter, and Peter's family is in love with Hannah Ann. But Peter's in love with Madison, and she finally told him she loves him back. But Peter's family is questioning Madison, and Mrs. Weber tells Peter that he shouldn't let Hannah Ann go.
Don't let her go.
Then Peter took Madison to a spiritual Australian rock, and she says they're too different to be together and leaves. Then Peter takes Hannah Ann to see a bunch of kangaroos and calls her the most perfect woman.
Always.
But that just might be because she said it was okay for him to have sex with Victoria.
And that's what you missed on Glee.
I'm going to be using most of this time to talk about Barb. On night 2 of the finale, Peter has changed his tune in one day. He's pretty much going to propose to Hannah Ann because she's the only one left. And we all know it. Hannah Ann says she's about to tap out.
I've given and given and given, and I just want something in return.
I feel like her intuition is telling her that she's lost to Madison, but she also doesn't know that she's the only one left. Chris Harrison comes along and says that Hannah Ann might not be coming, and he's all shocked, but I'm not. Like, this entire time he keeps telling Hannah Ann, like, oh, but there's still Madison around. But it turns out that she is on her way, and she looks like she's being delivered to a breakup. There's lots of dramatic opera music. I felt so bad because she was so, like, happy shocked when Peter proposed, but then there's all the people watching, like, knowing something bad's about to happen.
You better watch out, you better watch out, you better watch out, you better watch out, you better watch.
We return to Peter's home.
Barb is in her sobbing gear. Everyone take your positions.
Peter says he's engaged, and his family does not even congratulate him. Barbara looks like she's in pain. Seriously, is Maddie that bad? But he says that he's engaged to Hannah Ann, and his mom starts sobbing. But it's clear that he's struggling with the Madison breakup. Barb's face when she is watching from the live audience. Also, she's in all black, like kind of like she's mourning the death of this engagement. It shows Peter and Hannah Ann having their meetup after the first month where they have to be apart. And Peter pretty much tells her that he can't love her the way she wants to be loved, aka without there being another woman he's more in love with.
You betrayed me. And you know it, right? Get my life back on track now. Where it originally was before.
And I feel like this has kind of been festering for Hannah Ann, where she's always been so supportive.
I'm strong. And I've been my own rock throughout this. And you don't have to worry about me.
And she's like, what are you sorry for? And I was like, yes, get him.
From the bottom of my heart, I'm so sorry.
Sorry for what?
For taking that away from you. For confusing you, for having you have to deal with me and
For not being man enough to follow through with your words, to not being true to your words.
She's tired of him being torn. She's tired of him honestly being selfish for keeping her around when he's in love with somebody else. Barb is clapping for Hannah Ann. They bring Hannah Ann out on stage, and she's like, not only was Madison involved, but you reached out to Hannah B. What? She pretty much tells him to become a man that can handle being engaged.
If you want to be with a woman, you need to become a real man.
And Barb claps for her the whole time. I feel like she's really trying to salvage this relationship, except that it's not hers to salvage. Chris went to Auburn to go get Madison, and Peter didn't know. And I feel like Chris partially was just doing this out of the goodness of his heart. Barb's eye roll when Madison is like, I can't eat and I can't sleep. I'm like, why are you eye rolling? She's clearly in love with your son if she's doing that. Madison says she regrets what she did and she would change it if she could. And Chris says that he thinks Peter's dream is to be with Madison. So they're gonna go to LA. Barb keeps whispering to her husband, and I'm like, why do you hate her so much? Like, really? Madison shows up. Peter looks like his dreams have come true. Like, I just don't understand why Barb is so angry about this. I have a lot of feelings about Barb. Peter says he's in love with Madison, and Barb is angry.
he's an angry elf.
Chris is like, well, how does this end? What we are all wondering. They give some vague answers about how they need to heal, and then we talk to Barb. She says she likes Hannah Ann because Hannah Ann embraced her right away, and they clicked, and it was clear that she was in love with Peter, but she made it all about herself, which was weird. And then she's like, Madison made us wait 3 hours and then didn't apologize. And then she doesn't say she's in love with Peter, and she won't accept a proposal in 4 days. She has a pretty good reason to not accept a proposal in 4 days. I feel like it'd be really hard to start your engagement when your fiance is halfway in love with someone else, hence what happened. She says that Madison doesn't compromise with Peter, and that Peter's the only one compromising. He's old enough to decide to make that choice because Madison has told him this entire time, I'm not gonna compromise. And Peter, if he's gonna make the decision to compromise, That's his decision, not his mother's. And she's like, Hannah Ann gave her love to Peter and Madison didn't. Madison is like, I disagree.
My love went to Hannah Ann because anyone that loves your child or your son, your daughter,
No, I disagree.
you love them dearly.
I think
The crowd breaks into applause for Madison because she's facing this potential monster-in-law. And then Barb literally says, in front of Peter and Madison on live television, our entire family and all of our friends think that this isn't gonna work out. Boos from the crowd.
All his friends, all his family, everyone that knows him knows that it's not, it's not gonna work. So we've been trying to help him. Would we want it to work? Yes.
And then Chris asks for the dad's opinion, and you can just see Barb like staring. Like, you better agree with me. I honestly think the dad was fine, but then he was like, you don't even start a relationship when there's this many obstacles. I give up. That's gonna be a long road for them to get through. I don't know if they're gonna make it. Madison has stood up to Barb several times in a row, so I feel like she has the personal strength to do so continually. I just don't know if they're going to want to do that. Chris Harrison has pretty much adopted them as his own son and daughter-in-law.
I hope and wish you guys the best.
So, the most unsatisfying ending ever. Do we want to talk about Claire? I'm not her biggest fan. I think she's a great person. I think she's probably an awesome mom, but I just don't see her being the Bachelorette. And I think it's a little bit because when people were applying for the Bachelor, they were most likely applying for someone who was on the past season. So women in their 20s, early 20s, and then I just think it'll be difficult for them to get past that barrier of Claire being almost 40 and being very mature, and then these men who are in their 20s expecting to be dating a 20-some-year-old until they found out it was Claire. Granted, Claire looks much younger than 38 in my personal opinion. I just think that the barrier in maturity is going to be difficult for them to get through, and like at this point it's Claire's 4th time on the show, and I just think that's a lot of tries to then go into something where there's, at least of the 20 men I've seen that are contestants, they're at least 5 years younger than her, if not 10. They're just going to be at such different stages in their life that I see it being a difficult season. End rant. What did you think of the ending? Do you think Madison and Peter are realistically going to make it to an engagement? Why was Neil Lane even in the audience? Also, why was Kelly in the audience? I know there was that theory going around the internet that he was going to propose to Kelly. I didn't believe it. It's time to get excited for Bachelor in Paradise though, so let's go. My name's Caitlin. Thanks for watching. Bye.